the number one overall pick. That's what everybody's thinking. I mentioned my conversation with Matt Harmon from Yahoo Sports, who came up with reception perception, where he charts every single route for every receiver out there. I asked him first thing when we exchanged pleasantries. I said, "Who's your favorite receiver?" He goes, "Travis Hunter."
Ooh.
Wouldn't stop talking about him. It's Travis. So as far as crowd size goes, now, full disclosure, Cam Ward was talking 2 podiums down.
Okay.
And there was, I believe is the Texas Tech kid in between them. So one of my buddies was like, I'm going to ask him if he feels like a sandwich. You know, he's got Shedeur on one side, he's got Cam Ward on the other. So, yes, the way they do things in the combine now, it's annoying. But they will just have 8 podiums, and there's 8 guys. And sometimes, based on whatever, is you're going to get the stars. And you're going to get the top guys. Like Omarion Hampton and Ashton Jeanty were at the same time. So Mace was at Hampton because he loves him. And he's not wrong in that. Mm-hmm. But I was at Jeanty because he's the guy. Yeah. I was at Shedeur Sanders, and it was very full. And I thought Shedeur did a great job with his media presence at the scouting combine.
All right, well, let's hear a little bit from the quarterback. And, of course, you can't have a Shedeur Sanders press conference, podcast, meeting, rap song, whatever, without talking about the doubters, can you?
Because I've done it at 2 locations already, so it's simple. So that's why when people say I'm not, one of the top quarterbacks or the top quarterback, is what are y'all going based off of? Because I did it year after year after year, and you see the progression. So it's like, obviously, it got to be some type of external hate that you have for the family, for the last name, for anything, because I know I proved myself on the field.
All right, like I said, that's just who he is. He's not wrong either, to give him some credit about what he has done on the field, 100%. But this just goes back to the same thing. Like, Shedeur, at some point you need to drop that you hate us because of our last name and just go be a football player. To do that for a couple of years, like earn the respect from your peers, and then you can start to do some of that. His peers are no longer Colorado Buffaloes players. His peers are not college athletes anymore. They're grown-ass men in the NFL, and everybody's got haters, Shedeur. You're going to go to a locker room where all 53 of your teammates, 52 of your teammates get the same nonsense you get on social media. You're not special. You're just an NFL quarterback. Drop that shtick, man.
Well, I guarantee the first time he sacks, someone's doing the wrist thing.
Mm-hmm.
Wrist up, hashtag wrist up. Like, yeah. So he did talk about his rap song. Nobody asked him because the combine's like, "You're the greatest. Tell us how you're the greatest." So no one said, like, "How about the second song?" Kind of bad, right? We'll get to that a little bit later. But as far as like concentrating on the haters, here's what his father did. Like Dion, love Dion, hate Dion, wherever you're at on the Dion scale, right?
Yeah.
He went to the Hall of Fame. You've got large shoes to fill. You're not going to fill those by being like, you hate us because the whatever. Like, no, you're going to fill those large shoes from your father by going out there and being the best pro that you possibly can be. So I thought he was, of course he did the hater thing because that's what he does. But he also had a bit more enthusiasm. The Shrine Bowl interview was maybe more business-like with Shedeur, and I was in the small scrum for that. This was a much larger scrum. I was in that as well. Shedeur was putting on the show for everyone that was there to see him, and he kept talking about how history repeats itself. But if I were to have a private conversation with Shedeur, I would say this. Well, history repeats itself, but what did you win? I won at Jackson State, and then I went to Colorado, and I won at Colorado, so history repeats itself, so I'm just going to win in the NFL. Okay, but there's a difference between I'm a starter in the NFL and I'm a champion.
Well, and that's also,
in the NFL.
There are a lot of really good college athletes, and about 4% of them are stars at the NFL level.
Yeah, well, and I'm sure Kev could find the numbers or crunch them, like how many Hall of Famers. You know what I mean? Like you can be pretty good in college football. You can be excellent in college football. You can be a bust as a pro.
Mm-hmm.
So as I've been talking to people, and Shedeur is the topic, I did have someone that I trust that's an evaluator that said he's swaggy Teddy Bridgewater.
Oh, wow.
And I was like,
is that a shot at Teddy
that.
Bridgewater?
No, I mean, Teddy is smart and accurate. And with Shedeur, as I've often said, he's smart and accurate. Like, give me that. he can put it on either shoulder on purpose 40 yards down the field. You could hate the kid, but you cannot deny his ability to slice you up as a pocket passer. But if he goes to some team that thinks he's a scrambler, that tries to use that as any sort of weapon for their offense, and doesn't use his God-given ability of pocket pass, he's a pocket passer. He is Andy Dalton, Chad Pennington, Teddy Bridgewater, or, as one evaluator told me, swaggy Teddy Bridgewater. That's what he is. If you think of him in a different way, you will be disappointed. You will be let down. He will be labeled a bust. You have to approach it the right way. You can win. Andy Dalton has a better win percentage with the Cincinnati Bengals than Joe Burrow does.
Wow.
In a similar amount of games. And Kev, look up the numbers if you want. But so we can say, oh, Andy Dalton sucks. Well, his numbers are better with Joe Burrow than Joe Burrow. They won more games than with Joe Burrow, who is an incredible quarterback. So if he goes to the right spot, the right situation, and I'm not sure if that's the Las Vegas Raiders, I'm not even sure they like him.
Mm-hmm.
I know Tom Brady likes him. I know that. But like, okay, where's the real fit with Shedeur Sanders? He's got talent, he's got skill. He's got to now get to work.
There is something that he said that I actually think is very important, because the same thing that he's had to deal with in his collegiate career, he's going to have to deal with at the NFL level as well. And it's a problem. And if you can handle it the right way, it's just going to lead to less, bad times at the quarterback position. And that's having to deal with how many times he's changed offensive coordinators at the college level.
I've been through 6 different OCs, so I'm able to adjust to any offense and every scheme and make it work. We went from Jackson State to Colorado and changed 2 programs back to back. So you don't think I could come to an NFL franchise and change a program again? It's history. We done it again. It's always going to repeat itself.
Okay, that's kind of what you're talking about there.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I understand why he's saying that, and you obviously want to pump yourself up as much as you can at these combines. I don't have any of the problem with the players doing that. And like I said, I think he's actually 100% right on that. If I were an offensive evaluator or a GM or, somebody in these circles talking about do we or don't we draft these kids, that would be a favorable measurement for Shedeur Sanders.
Oh, 1,000%. And it's one of the reasons why it shows his football intelligence. Right? And again, you can hate Shedeur Sanders. You can, for whatever reason. Maybe it's reasons you're uncomfortable with. I don't know. But I know our guy Brian, yes, that Brian, will always text in calling him Manure Sanders. Like, you can have that opinion. You can, but you cannot deny his ability as a passer. You cannot deny his ability to pick up an offense. So do we want to talk all up in our feelings, or do we want to talk about what he can do as a pro? And it's all about fit in this league. He could go somewhere that's a bad fit, and then what? Right? He'll get a second opportunity because he's going to be a top 5 pick, top 10 pick if you're pessimistic in this league. He'll get another opportunity. Maybe it's like Zach Wilson. He has to wait somewhere and wait for that opportunity. Maybe he just point blank gets another opportunity. Maybe he's Trey Lance. He goes number 3 and then can't play. Like the future has yet to be determined, but one thing that we cannot deny, kid knows how to pick up an offense. Kid knows how to throw the football. Put him in the right spot, watch him win. Put him in a bad spot and watch him fail miserably.
100%. Can't wait to see where Shedeur lands in this draft. Text line, tell us, is